Hello everyone, it's Ben Hall from BritXbox.co.uk with a Shadow of Mordor review for you. It's a bit later than I would normally like after a game's release, but you know, this is a massive game and I've tried to fit as much time in as possible around annoying things like work. And it's just, I've got some clips here of me defeating a bunch of captains and war chiefs early on in the game. I took this footage, I think it's less than halfway through, but it's some good stuff, good combat stuff, and doesn't spoil any of the story that I've cut together here. Basically, this game is an open world action-adventure game set in the Tolkien universe, though not directly connected to Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. You're seeing some of the menu stuff here, the upgrade stuff, but the main thing I really want to talk about, as I talk about in my written review, which you should definitely check out as well on the website, is the Nemesis System. Now, the Nemesis System is very hard to explain in some ways, but it's very easy to understand once you pick it up, and hopefully you'll see a bit of this in the video. It's basically an Orc or Uruk hierarchy, which involves the computer enemies remembering your actions, remembering when they've killed you and you've sometimes killed them. They sometimes come back pissed off, and it's kind of the crux of what makes Shadow of Mordor a unique gaming experience. It's a system which adds character to just the lowliest, as you can see here, this is the hierarchy system, even the lowliest grunts. If they kill you, they level up, they get more powerful, they move up this system until potentially they can become a war chief. You can manipulate the system. In the later parts of the game, you get this brand mechanic where you can control your enemies, manipulate them to fight each other a bit more directly. At this time, I'm just sort of assassinating people and sort of shuffling the board around by creating gaps and moving Uruks up into them. I'm just taking out some of my first group of war chiefs at the moment. Here's some more of the combat. It's heavily inspired combat by Batman games, which isn't a surprise considering Monolith had developed this title for Warner Brothers Interactive, who obviously made the Batman Arkham games as well. But that's not a bad thing. They've taken the mechanic, they've tightened it up, they've made it more brutal, more visceral. There's beheadings, massive amounts of orc blood everywhere, huge amounts of enemies on the screen. It feels like the world is alive all the time. It's a beautiful world, a really awesome visual, a great way of capturing the feel of Mordor. Something you never really saw in the films, to be honest, other than sort of vague sense of it at night as a horrible place. Timeline here is that the game is set considerably before Lord of the Rings but after The Hobbit, so Mordor isn't as dark a place as you say would know it from the Lord of the Rings films. So there's plenty of variety. There are obviously human slaves, you can do a lot of saving of that, loads of fun side missions. The game is packed, which is why it's taken a while for me to actually get the review done, because it's taken me a long time to really beat it, to play it. There's so much in there. Even the side content is compelling and exciting and fun to do, which is a rarity in an open world exploration sort of based game. Here I am fighting another war chief with wargs in the mix, or not wargs in the mix. I always want to call them wargs because they remind me a lot of them, but basically they're the beastie evil dog creatures of Shadow of Mordor. There's loads of wildlife actually, not just these guys. And then of course the Nemesis System, like I was talking about, the orcs have so much variety. They're all different, they all have character, they've got their own dialogue, their own look, their own armor, their own strengths and weaknesses, which have led me to have, at this point I was having a lot of problems with a particular captain, which I was running away from because he was so OP. His strengths and weaknesses for the way I was playing were giving me so many problems in defeating him, that he would show up in a fight and I'd be frustrated and annoyed. I'll tell you what guys, when I finally beat this guy I was so happy, so overjoyed. Sadly not this particular guy, but I was basically at this point still a little bit low level, a little bit low power, and still maximizing how to use my guy in combat, and it comes with practice. The game isn't that easy off the bat, it's actually quite punishing, but there, you know, you get better over time. You learn mechanics, you get finishes, and awesome area effects, and all kind area effect attacks as well. I can't fit everything into this review, and I don't try and fit everything into the written review, because at this point you've probably checked out a lot of other stuff. This game is fantastic, and the Nemesis System sets it apart. I highly recommend you guys pick it up and play it now.